In today's module, we are going to discuss the opening page of the Enter, Edit, Change Request screen. This is where you would perform account entry and changes. Go ahead and place an assigned account number into the field here. Click Edit, and you will see that it says it's an invalid account number, and do you want to create it? Because it is a brand new account that I'm entering. Just go ahead and simply click Yes. You are then brought to the first page here of the Enter, Edit, Change screen. Now, there are a few grayed out fields. That's okay, don't worry about those. I'm going to be saying that actually for a couple of these fields here as I go through here. Also, the areas that have magnifying glass, that always indicates that there is a lookup, but it also indicates that there is a certain way that data must be entered in. Now, to lead things off is the subscriber name, and you want to go ahead and enter in the name as you would say it. Also, make sure that everything done in eLink is in capital letters. Also, do not add in any type of punctuation. So we don't need periods, we don't need commas, things of that nature. The next box here is for the street number, and this box here is for the direction, whether it's east, west, north, if applicable. The following box is then for the street name. Also a tidbit, all these fields are tab type friendly, so you can type and then tab to advance into the next field. This box here is for additional address information, whether or not you have an apartment, apartment 1, suite 2, things of that nature. Then this is for your city, state, country, and zip code. As stated, this is for your county. Now I know that the site phone number can be manipulated. You can enter in information here. However, if you do, it's going to tell you that you must use the site phone link in order to put in the number. So I will discuss that a little bit later. So for now, you can go ahead and leave that field blank. The time zone, go ahead and put in the applicable time zone. And your sort by name field, this is a field that you can enter in, like for example, the last name first, so that when you are trying to search for things or sort for things inside of DICE, if you want to use the last name to search, you may go ahead and enter it in there. The cross street, if you have one, and the miscellaneous info. A lot of individuals want to put in notes here. Please refrain from miscellaneous notes. There is another screen, another field that we can add in additional notes. The miscellaneous info is currently being used for the PD, the registrations, or the permit numbers, since these fields display during our dispatch script. Again, refrain from just general notes. There's another area that I'll show you that you can enter those in. The miscellaneous info, though, is for the PD regs and the permit numbers. And you can see here that Chrome is helping me out. The map, if you have a map, you can go ahead and enter it in. These fields are seldom used. You're going to ignore the sales tax code, the service code, and the rate table. You will not be entering any information in these fields. Use areas, I will actually be discussing that in a different module. However, just know that if you have an account that is using areas, and the number one indicator to understand that is if you have zones, for example, like Zone 1, Area 1, Zone 1, Area 2, Zone 1, Area 3, that's when this flag actually means something. So for an everyday account, you can just go ahead and leave that in N, and again, I'll discuss that in a different module. The use extended and wildcards, you can also go ahead and ignore them and leave those N's. The PO number, house code, and account AR. These are general fields that aren't controlled or even looked at by us. So if you want to go ahead and use them for whatever data that you want to store in there, for example, some use account ARs because their central station account number is different than their accounting AR number, and they'll store that information here. You may do so. You may put in any information that you want in these 3 fields. Now, I can't change the names here. However, if you want to liken it something to something that means something to you, then go for it. County, just ignore county identifier 2 and 3. County was built as once upon a time this county field did not exist, so we entered one here. However, it exists over here, so just go ahead and use that. Again, ignore identifier 1, 2, and 3. These are central station controllable fields, and down the road we may be using them for something. Currently, we're not using them for anything. So if you go putting data in there and we go ahead and change that down the road, that data isn't going to mean anything to us, and it'll probably be deleted. So again, ignore these fields and refrain from using them. The panel type is obviously the type of panel that is installed here at the premises. And again, you'll see that you have magnifying glass because these fields are looking for data to be entered in a certain way. So go ahead and use the magnifying glass and pop up the box here. And you can use the go-to key to search for your panel. Once you find it, you can simply click on it and it auto-populates in the field here. If you happen to not find your panel or you need one entered, just contact the central station and we'll go ahead and do that for you. Start date, again, you can go ahead and hit the magnifying glass and it'll pop up for you. As you can see, it wants the 2-digit month, day, and year, and also with the slashes. Also, for the start date, you may enter in a future start date or a date in the future that you want the account to go live. For example, if you install a system and you want to give the homeowner or company a week trial run without anyone calling or dispatching, you may go ahead and put a date in the future. The account is not active, it's not billed, and it won't be responded to for any type of alarms. Or some people go ahead and put in today's start date to have accurate record keeping, and then they go ahead and put the account on test as discussed in other modules. Whichever you want to use is fine. Default zones, they're rarely used anymore, but they were very popular for formats such as like the ITI format and older type like BFSK and radionics formats. Certain zone numbers were always certain types of alarms. So again, with things like Content ID and SIA, it's not really used so much anymore. However, if you do have these older formats or you have a bunch of accounts, the default zones may help you out. Thus, go ahead and contact the central station. The supervised schedule, I'll be discussing that at length in a different module. This, though, is for accounts that require us to monitor for opening and closing signals. The next 4 fields actually all involve monitoring for a test signal. If you do have a monthly, daily, or weekly test established for the account and you want us to monitor it, the any signal is a test option. That's if you will allow any communication from the panel to qualify as a test signal instead of just the test signal. So if you have CID programmed and it's an E602 and you want us to only monitor for an E602, let's say on a monthly basis, keep that flag an N. If throughout the month a burglary alarm or a trouble signal comes in and you're allowing that to count as the panel's test, then go ahead and flag that a Y. You will also see that there's a Z here, and I'll discuss that area in a different module. That is for monitoring multiple test signals. So in the event that you have a cellular backup and you also have a panel test and you want to monitor both of those signals independently, that is where you would actually go ahead and put a Z in here, and again I'll discuss that in a different module. The account test, how often? Now you can see all these options in here. However, the only one you want to concern yourself with is the H for hourly. If it is daily, it's 25 hours. If it is weekly, it's 169, and if it's monthly, it is 744. Again, only use hourly as the account tests how often, and daily is 25, weekly is 169, and monthly is 744. The system handled field, that is concerning the late to test. If you want us to call on it, you would go ahead and flag the system handle a no, or keep it a no. If you want it to be logged out, go ahead and make the system handle flag a Y. Thus it is logged and it'll show up solely on your morning report and we're not calling on it. Use EE delay in zones. Again, I'll be discussing this in another module. Originally it was created for older panels that did not have the ability for the entry-exit delay. However, we have used this area for a couple of neat things, and I'll discuss that in another module. Use operator locks, always keep that a Y, and commercial and residential, that's self-explanatory, either make the account commercial or residential. Only concern yourself with the C or the R. Okay, once you're done, go ahead and click submit, and now you have successfully filled out the opening page of the change requests. You can then go back into the account and you'll see that you are given other options. This is so you can fill out your zone, your authority numbers, your contacts, things of that nature, which I will discuss each of those in a different module. You will see, as I discussed earlier about the site phone, that there is a premises link here that you would actually go ahead and edit the premises telephone number, or add it in this case. Again, I'll discuss that in another module. That wraps up the opening screen of the Enter, Edit, Change Requests. If you have any questions, please go ahead and email us at the info@alliedcentral.com link, or simply contact Central Station.